Good morning, guys. Today we are going to start talking about the quadratic formula. All right, the quadratic formula is something that we discussed at length. Remember that there are different parts of the quadratic formula that we discussed. The first of which being this b squared minus 4ac underneath the square root. If you remember from earlier this semester, that is what we call the discriminant. Okay, so the discriminant is this b squared minus 4ac, all right? That is the first thing that we're gonna try to solve whenever we're given a quadratic formula that we cannot solve by factoring, all right? So if you try to solve this one by factoring, you would see that 2 times negative 3 gives us negative 6, all right? 6 and 1 could combine to give us negative 7, but if it multiplies to be a negative 6, that means that one of them has to be positive. So there's no factors here that multiply to be negative 6 and add up to be negative 7. That's just not possible. So we're going to have to use the quadratic formula. The first step whenever I use the quadratic formula is to identify what a, b, and c equal. All right, so if you remember, it's always ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So in this case, we've got a equals 2, that's the number in front of this m squared. B is the number in front of the m, so that would be negative 7. And c is the constant, all right, which in this case is a negative 3. So what we're going to do first is use what's underneath the square root here, b squared minus 4ac. All right, so b squared minus 4ac in this case would be negative 7 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 3. All right, we're trying to see what that equals. Excuse my dog. All right, so in this case, we've got negative 7 squared is 49 minus 4 times 2 minus negative 3. That's going to give us 8, 24. So 49 plus 24 equals 73. All right, so 73 is the number that's underneath the square root. All right, so if I fill in the rest of the quadratic formula here, I've got x equals negative b is the opposite of b. Instead of saying negative b, think of the opposite of b. So if b is negative 7, that means we're going to have a positive 7 plus or minus the square root of this 73 that we found right here. All right, so that's why I put 73 underneath the square root over 2 times a. In this case, a is 2. All right, so we want to simplify things that we know. Square root of 73. If I try to birthday cake 73, all right, there's nothing that goes into 73. So 73 is actually prime, all right? So I can't do anything, so it's just going to stay the square root of 73. All right, so I've got x equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 73. That all stayed the same. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So if you'll remember, that's actually 2 solutions written right here, okay? Just written as one because there's that plus or minus sign in the middle, all right? If I wanted to, I could separate it, but that would just be more writing, and I'm not a big fan of more writing, and I know you aren't either, all right? So we're gonna just stop there. If you have any questions on today's material, it is a little bit more difficult, I completely understand. You can Google quadratic formula calculator and use your resources to figure out how to do this, okay? Or it might even just give you the answer, all right? But if you do have any questions on how to do this, please send me a message on Canvas or send me an email. I'll be glad to answer any of those questions that you might have, all right? Have a great day. Miss you guys. Bye-bye.